let's simplify your HID headlights from the manufacturer. Your $100 bulbs. We'll say this is the front end of your car, because we're going to need this diagram here soon anyways. I might as well draw it up. So, my pen works. We'll say this is your front end of your car. Boom. We'll call this a headlight, and this a headlight. And then you have your wires that come out of your headlight. And boom. Now, a lot of cases it's 3 wires. If you have a single bulb. If you have 2 bulbs, then you're gonna. So this is a bundle of 3 wires. So it's one harness that comes in. Basically, cut out the middleman and everything. To simplify it, it goes straight to your car battery. Here's your battery. Boom. And if you have 2 bulbs, you're gonna have your brights and your low beams. They do the same thing. We're just going to intersect them right into that wire. And so, in this case, same thing, intersect right into that wire. And then, this is a simplified version, of course, because in any electrical circuit, you have to have a positive and negative. So I'm just going to visually do the 2 wires for you. And they run in a bundle and they're most likely 2 black wires, and you can't even tell what's negative or positive per se. As you can see what's happening here, so they split, so they go as a bunch, and they'll, to simplify, go here. Of course, they go to a fuse box, and then come out the other side, and into a switch, and that's what makes your headlights work. So your switch has to intersect your lights. So let's take the ground and cut it in half. So it's going to come out with 2 ends, like so. And those 2 ends are going to go up here to a switch, and we'll make that switch just a round one, who knows, a round dial knob. And on the back side of that, it's going to have 2 connectors. So basically, your grounds are going to come out, and then instead of going across now straight to the battery where they would stay on all the time, we'll say the grounds go up here, and then they cut in half. They're not there at all. And then instead they go up here, just the ground, touch one side of that, and then on the other one, the other pin on your knob, it continues. So it goes up, in, and out. Basically, wherever this is making the connection between this one and this one. Basically replacing this section when it's on, and then disconnects the section when it's off. Effectively shutting off the power from going all the way here. So shut them off, power only goes here. On the negative side, power, the positive can continue. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have a full circle to complete your circle of power. Anyways, so we'll say these are the expensive HID bulbs in your vehicle. So the wiring will have a box, basically. That'll be intersected right near the stock headlight. In that little box is going to be a little power converter that makes these HEDs run without any issues. So there's, you can wrap your head around it, and then you have your bulb. Boop. Don't act like you're not impressed. Little mushroom bulbs. These are high definition, custom, original equipment manufacturing bulbs. But you get what I'm saying. Well, once they're burnt out, they're custom, at least. Anyways, okay, so this is to simplify. This is where it gets expensive. The wiring, standard, everyday, like the cheapest car you can find out there, from a motorcycle to headlights on just a standard annual motorless bike where you just decide to put headlights on. I mean, it's the same configuration. The only difference here is that these get really expensive right here. You're talking the bulb in general, because of that converter, it must run very, like a higher voltage. I mean, you're talking like, I forget, like 22,000 watts. Like, it's ridiculous. So if you're not in the market to be able to purchase a $120 bulb, and that's just a bulb, and we're not even talking about this converter here, to find out the converter is the issue, and then you're looking at, oh my goodness, yeah, you're out almost $300 just for a bulb. So I'm going to show you how to simplify replacing that with a standard bulb. And to do that, we are going to cut this guy out right here. That guy is gone. Wish I could give you a better version of that. Yeah, I don't have white, but we can just take this here thing. Now it's deleted and you have these, just these frayed wire here. Literally cut them off right there. And all that's out. Basically, that's what you have to replace. That's one of the problems right there somewhere, and that's the reason why your headlight isn't working. So, you can leave your brights in there. They probably have their own converter boxes right there, whatever. Now, we're focused on this bulb. By cutting out the little converter box there, and taking out the bulb, that's the problem. Just go far enough back that you're going to hit a single 3 wire phase, which will be a single bulb in the front, or 2 bulbs, like this diagram. You're going to have 2 wires and 2 wires for negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, negative, positive, negative. So, we want to put this little guy in here now, because hey, we have it laying around, and why in the heck would we want to waste 150? We don't even know how long we're going to have this car. It's a good car, granted we love the headlights, but you know what, they were just a special feature, you know. They're lucky me, I had them. Well, these are the LEDs, they look backwards. So now we want to wire this little guy in. This little LED one costs $13 on Temu, in the place of where that $300 was. So first thing we gotta look at is the plug on it. Does it have negative and positive, 3 or 2 pins? And in this case, you're looking at 3 pins. 1, 2, 3. But if you look closely, you see the red line right there that divides these. That tells you that that's positive, and those are negative. Or this one's positive, and the middle one's positive, and that one's negative. Either way, that singled out port is positive. So, to see if this works in the tester theory, we're going to need 12 volts on the supply here with a jumper. And 2 pigtails. So I have 2 pigtails here already spliced. One for soldering, real short. And then one's to integrate into the system. Those wires right there. Because we're going to splice those and cut into those. So we want this one, obviously, plugged into this one. Negative and positive to what we would call the car battery. There's positive and negative. 12 volt car battery. Turn it on. We now have a current running through this guy. And we need a headlight that's fair in price. So we're going to single out our single pin there on the far left. here, where my thumb is. You suck. Not you, but you. So then we're just going to take these two and touch the two far end ones. Delete the middle one. Don't think about the middle one because that's going to be like your high beam. So we're going to touch that single out one. Whoa! Whoa, 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 wow. So you see what I did? So we're going to put this bulb here basically in the light. That's where it's going to go. Hold on, bud. And then we're going to wire this guy right in there. Hold on, bud. Yes, I will. I'm trying to see if this light will work. Again, I had it. I'm afraid, though. I'm going to go blind. I swear my left eyeball is running away from my head right now. Ah! But I'm going to solder these onto this. You don't have to do it that way. That's just the way I'm going to do it because it will last much longer. So there, I'm making the connection.
Can you turn your phone away?
Do you see how bright that is? Look at that. This is a headlight in a car, buddy. Check it out.
Turn your phone.
I will if you'll look at this for 3 seconds. I want you to stare directly into it. Just like they did on Storks, where that guy was like, that stork was like, what's the hardest part of this job? He goes, what, going blind? No, what are you, crazy? Okay. So, now that we're soldered on this one, I have these heat shrink tubes that I put on here before, so I can, you know, I like to make sure I put something much smaller than what my solder is going to be. That way it doesn't even work at all. But in this case, I kind of left that on that side, but clearly that one's not going to go over that solder. Boop, boop, boop. So, yeah, the heat shrink cable, heat shrink is just kind of useless here. It's dead. Either way, I mean, yeah, no exposed wires really can touch, so that's that anyway. So now we'll test that with our car battery here. Turn it on. Boom. Negative and positive, and we're going to get lights immediately. So what we just did was we took that box out. That was right here. The old converter box. And then the wires that led from it. Something like this. That's our converter. And then these wires here come out this side. And then you have your bulb. Like that. So that's what we cut out. Put it right there. That's right here. So now we're going to add in the simplified, much more affordable, I already have it laying around my house, headlights. And it's as simple as, these are referred to as pigtails, 12 volt pigtails, standard. One way you want to look at it is, this is where you want your power to go in, because that's what's going to turn on. It goes in. That's our power, or our radio, or our, I don't know, whatever you want. You get your phone, has an in port, right? Like this. So the power supply will always have the plug, the male end. That's where the power's coming from, so it goes in to the light. Now, if you don't do soldering, like this light here, I have another little way that works kind of good. I think you get what I'm saying. So now you just take this, and where those are cut there, you're going to take these two new wires and fill in the blank. So where that converter was, and we cut it out, threw it away, now there's going to be two wires here hanging that ultimately connect to our switch that turns it on and off. We just want to wire these into those. Find the negative positive, plug it in. And you would then take this guy and put it in the back of your headlamp. And there's ultimately different ways of finding a way to make them stick together. One good way, if you just can't I mean, I like a glue that's the best glue on the market for me that would work no matter what and not fail you is E6000. Boom, the best glue out there. Boom. Walmart, $6. How you doing? That's backwards. No, it's good. I don't know. Looks good. I guess. Anyways, you could put that around here. You want to stay away from hot glue because these do get hot enough that they would just melt out, and plus over 100 degrees in the summer. Other techniques. Take electrical tape, wrap it around this if the hole's too big, and once you get this to a certain diameter of the existing hole, then you would just force it in until it lodged itself in there with as much duct tape around this. I mean, look at the mass of that one. I mean, put that much around there, and what, this is going to be that thick? You think about it like that. So, you can put electrical tape around it, and that would help wedge it in there and stay inside the hole of the housing, so you'll have your headlight. Now, if you don't solder, and what are you going to do, right? Well, solution for that, of course. In this case, there's no division of pins in this one, so we are going to compare and relay. In this case, we're going to know that that's positive and that's negative. I would take heat shrink tubing, so let's see what we got here. There should have been, what's right here. So, heat shrink tubing, boom. And take this and put it on your positive pin, something like that, and one on your negative pin, something like that. So now you got two of them, positive and negative. Then you take your positive and negative wires. You want to clean more off than that. I mean, I think that's like the max for what you're gonna need for soldering. But if you're going to be doing it this way, you would want as much as exposed due to the fact that you want to make sure you have a connection. So, that's more generous. See how much is sticking out now? Let's do that to the other one. Let go. Boom. Okay. Now that that's done, we can't fail here. I personally just like to fold it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Boom. Now we take these. What was positive was this side. Now we push it down in there. Boom. Basically, till you feel it kind of stop in there. Stop, balopolis, boom. Bada bing, bada boom. And negative. So ultimately, look. So you're going to see sticking out a little bit. Push them in just. Okay, you see it sticking out. Just want to go barely where they disappear. And it's gone. So it's just barely in there. And you want to take your heat source, in this case, of course I don't have. I love that. Okay, so. You can see it? No, you don't. So I'm just going to hold it right there. Because I know that's where that wire needs to be. And we're going to heat this up so it stays there. I burnt myself, you son of a bitch. I mean, dang it. I deserve this. So now, it's snug against the wire there. So it won't move up or down, exposing more or less of what we want exposed. Which is technically nothing, because we don't want these wires to extend out of this, and then you have two wires extending out, and they're both touching the same piece of metal that's located at the base of those pins. So by limiting their ability to slide, so now let's do this one, or negative, push it down a little bit, hold it, and burn yourself. Step 3, burn the out of yourself, and then tell yourself you deserve it. That's what you get for trying to do things. Yeah, you get it. Life's up. As my son said, and then you die. So, there we go. So, very limited as far as, like, we're not going to ground out on the housing. We're not going to short out on that housing. Cool. So, back to our positive here. Yeah. Put it on our pin. Now that it's on our pin, when I get it on there, score. Now, step 4 or 5 is to burn yourself again. Of course, like, overkill the lighter, but make sure you overkill your lighter. You don't want to use some snub-nosed piece of crap, little tiny lighter that's going to fizz out on you the first time you fart. Make sure you overkill. I mean, that's tiny as far as overkill goes, but I mean, ultimately, I guess my goal here is with a torch, I can reach down into this, unlike this one that's cracked, and I don't need to really reach down anywhere, so. And that's actually on there pretty good, so we're just going to hold it in place so it doesn't come off while we push the other pin in, and it'll be double held. I'm seeing doubles here. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. So now we're on there. Burn something again. Yes, sons of... Yikes. Didn't I already do that one? I don't know. Just melt them all. Fire in the hole! Now you can take some glue and put down in there. I mean, you can use wood glue, Elmer's glue, hot glue. Really, I mean, yeah, it will melt, but if you put enough in there, it won't be able to all melt and therefore not come out. And it'll hold itself, but once you get in the housing, you'll be set. So, there it is. Now we're going to take our power in. We're going to wire directly into that wires that we took. That were connected to, so basically these are the wires that were connected to this, in a sense. So now that this isn't there, we're just going to use those wires right there, that are these wires right here. They're barely sticking out in there, or we cut it off from this wire. These are now those wires. And this wire here, that we're going to plug into, are I love that, that's fantastic. My simulation of a car battery. Here we go. Boom. And watch these suckers light up. If I didn't know that they unplugged themselves because I didn't use any glue. Who uses glue? Not you, boo. It's true. If it's logical, I'd rather do it illogically. Oh, gosh. Man down. Pimp in distress. In distress. Yikes, mate. This is quite intense here. Wish you could see it. Right here, I'm going blind in my left eyeball. It's running away from my skull right now as we speak. Yikes. Seriously, though, this is like a lot of lumens, and I don't know why I go straight to Australian when I have 2,000 lumens in my hand, and I can't. I don't know, I think it kind of went over the British there. Oh my gosh. But you get it. There's your solution to the expensive light bulb situation. You just, of course, replace. And it don't matter if you want to keep this box, which is going to be on every light bulb in the circuit, that doesn't get replaced. Those all can stay. That is fine. The only difference you're going to experience, really, especially if you use an LED bulb, is just a difference in color. It's just going to be a tinge of like maybe tan yellow versus you're going to get a much sharper blue here, you know. Or, you know, if you do it to this side, maybe you just want to go over here and cut this one out and do the same thing here, and then you'll have 2 matching bulbs. I mean, that's a good solution. Yeah, so I guess the only other thing to say would be do all your wiring kind of first before you don't just kind of like go along and just like, yeah, just make sure if you can. If you have a multimeter, it's pretty simple: red, positive, negative. And for a circuit to work, electricity-wise, it has to make a full circle. Well, if we interrupt that circle with a switch like this, because this guy here, our negatives, goes in and it's cut off when it's on off. But then you turn it this way, and then it makes this touch this. And then ultimately, this wire goes in and out, and then to the battery. Effectively wiring the system, making a circle of power. So, and you can do this. This is a simplified version. I did it this way because at the end of the day, this is the basics of it. If you wiring straight into the harness, you know, forget all this stuff. You just know if you wire into this, you're going to get this benefit and this benefit, which ultimately should come with every end of wiring that's right here. Now, that aside, if for some reason you find that this guy isn't working or something, or you're just something happens and you don't want to wire, you don't want to have to figure this out. To go into your fuse box, go into your button or switch, go into your battery, tracing wires. All aside, just make this. Get some wires this long as it takes. You know, run it around the edge of your engine. Your engine's right here. Just run the wires around and put a switch in your vehicle inside. It could be a toggle switch like this. It doesn't have to be rotating.
My name is Louise Q.
Hello. Hello, love. Good day. The takeaway is this is simple. Ultimately, this little swap out here, very simple. We make it hard in our head that this is going to be hard, when in reality it isn't. Here, if I take this battery out of this expensive car, because it's probably going to be a much nicer battery. Who knows? It could be a little battery. I don't know. Either way, if I take this battery out and I go over to a cheaper car and I take their battery and I put it in here, guess what? Everything's going to work because it is simple. Positive, negative. Yes, we don't see the wires running that way, but that's what they're doing. In the background, that's what they're doing. You do this to the T. So it's say you do all 4 of these bad boys like this. Just wire them in to the existing wires that are there. And then wire your grounds. You see they're separated. They're not touching here. So they come up. But of course, you wouldn't want to wire your highs right in like that, because then what's going to happen, you're going to flip your switch and all 4 are going to come on. So you would want to put these on a separate switch, or find where the wires go in and out, and you would connect, of course, your grounds to those. And so yeah, ultimately, just copy this. Just run enough wire that you can get this inside the house. Run that your cabin, you know, just like, so the edge of your door, you would run these wires like right here along the hood line, and then your door is right here, but there's a gap, and you can run this in, and then on the other side of your windshield, whatever, you can set it right there by your knee. There's your steering wheel. There's your door sticking out. Here's your fender. Here's where these wires end up. You can run them right through there, lay them down. You don't have to take a bunch of stuff apart. And ultimately, you just, replicate this. And as far as that scheme goes, minus your brights. And you'll have headlights. You'll have a simplified version of headlights. You can do this in any like little Matchbox car for your kids. It's as simple as it. I'm making it look. It's not hard. Granted, you're going to be dealing with probably 2 blacks. If you see 2 blacks, look for one with like white dots on it. If you get white dots on the wire, that's your positive. And if you're worried that you're going to damage the bulb that you're going to be using because you don't know negative or positive, go in the house and find another bulb, 12-volt bulb, and then touch the 2 wires while you're go turn your switch on in the car. Touch the wires on a bulb you don't care about. Ultimately, you're not really going to hurt it if you get it backwards. Really, you're just kind of keeping that, you're not overdoing it, so you'll be fine. Or go in and grab one of these guys. Fuck, you can put one of these in your car. It says right here, 12 volts, 0.5 amps. This thing would probably be brighter in your car. Right there, 12 volts. 12 volts, sir. You could put that in your freaking car. I'm not even kidding you. See, no, it's not gonna work. But you get what I'm saying. Like, do like this real quick just to kind of negative, check, positive, check, and it is this simple. This is 12 volts from your house. You think to yourself, oh, but doesn't it have to have the unit that it goes into in order for it to work with that 12 volts? No, it's the same damn 12 volts. And these, the best part about these is positive, negative, who cares? It's either or. It completes the circle. I'm just going to touch one pin to this wire and one pin to that wire. Oh, look at that. Look, you're going to have a little bit of yellow light, but you have lights. You have fog lights. You have little lights for your kids' cars. It doesn't matter. It is as simple as I'm making it look, guys. So good luck. There's a lot you can do with this. This is an awesome, fun little project. You can get a littler battery. You can do this with 3.7 volt batteries and littler bulbs, LEDs. For your kid's dresser, who knows? You want to make your kid's dresser look like a car, and you want headlights as the handles. There you go. Good luck. Good luck.